Welcome back to the Business Book Club. Today, we're diving deep into a really interesting one. It's Donald Miller's Building a Story Brand. Clarify your message so customers will listen. And, if you've ever looked at your marketing budget and just thought, where's this money actually going? Like it's just disappearing into a void? Well, this deep dive is definitely for you. Miller's whole idea kind of flips things on their head. It's not about broadcasting your company's amazing story. No, it's about making your customer the hero, the absolute center of the story. And your brand. You're the guide, the trusted mentor. So our mission today is basically to unpack the story brand framework Miller lays out. The goal is to help you cut through all that marketing noise, get your message crystal clear, and actually, connect with your customers properly.
It's genuinely eye-opening stuff because, let's face it, tons of businesses think they're communicating well, but their marketing just doesn't land. It feels, like you said, like shouting into a void. Miller makes a crucial point early on. Pretty websites don't sell things. Words sell things. Clear words. And if those words aren't sharp, if they're muddy or confusing, you're basically just throwing money away.
That seems so obvious when you put it like that. But why? Why is confusion such a killer in marketing? What's happening in our brains?
Yeah, well, it really boils down to survival. Fundamentally, our brains are hardwired to conserve energy, mental calories, you could say. We're constantly scanning our environment for stuff that helps us survive and thrive. Food, shelter, safety, connection, status. Clarity helps us do that quickly. Confusion makes us burn energy. Think about it. You walk into a room, your brain instantly clocks the exits. Survival instinct. It doesn't bother counting the chairs unless it has to. So complexity. That makes our brain work too hard, burn those precious calories, and boom, we tune out, disengage. Ah, okay. So a confusing marketing message is like asking your customer's brain to, run on a treadmill while trying to listen to your pitch.
Exactly. It's just too much effort. The brain says, nope, not worth the energy, and moves on. And Miller says this leads brands to make two really critical mistakes over and over again. First, they fail to connect what they offer to those basic survival needs we just talked about: physical, emotional, relational, even spiritual needs. They talk about their company history, their internal goals, their features, stuff the customer's survival-focused brain just doesn't care about. And the second mistake? Well, it's causing that calorie burn we mentioned, using jargon, complex sentences, insider language, making people work way too hard to understand.
Okay, so if confusing the customer is the cardinal sin here, what's the core mantra? The one thing Miller hammers home.
It's super simple. If you confuse, you'll lose. That's it.
Yeah.
Simple, powerful, and so often ignored.
Right. So if confusion is the enemy, story becomes the antidote.
Miller argues it's like the ultimate sense-making tool for our brains. It organizes information in a way we're just compelled to listen to, like music versus just random noise, right? Story applies rules, structure, and suddenly makes sense and sticks with you.
Precisely. And the Apple example under Steve Jobs, particularly after his time at Pixar, is just perfect here. Think about early Apple marketing. They literally ran a 9-page ad in the New York Times just listing technical features. Total noise, right? But after Jobs came back, steeped in Pixar's storytelling magic, everything changed. Think different. 2 words: billboards. It wasn't about selling computers anymore. They understood that people deep down wanted to be seen, heard, to express their own genius. Apple became the guide, offering tools like QBranch for James Bond, empowering the customer to be the hero and win the day. And here's the killer insight, the one that really challenges how most businesses think. People don't buy the best products. They buy the products they can understand the fastest.
Understand the fastest. Wow. That really reframes things. Because so many companies, especially tech companies, pride themselves on having the superior features, the most complex tech. But Miller's saying that very complexity, even if it's better, could actually be hurting sales. Why do you think businesses resist that simplicity so much?
Oh, I think it's totally an internal focus issue. We know our product inside and out, right? So we assume everyone else cares about every little detail, every feature, our company's origin story. But the customer's brain, it's fundamentally selfish in that processing moment. It's asking, what's in it for me? How does this help me survive and thrive? It's a tough mental shift, moving from being company-centric to truly customer-centric. But Miller argues it's absolutely vital.
Okay, so this deep understanding of story structure led Miller to create the SB7 framework. 7 parts. A formula for clear communication. He compares it to basic musical chords. You can play infinite songs, but you stick to the chords to avoid just making noise. So the basic story formula he outlines is a character who wants something, encounters a problem that stops them. Then, when things look bleak, a guide appears, gives them a plan, and calls them to action. That action helps them avoid failure and ultimately leads to success.
Right. And to check if your current marketing is clear, he came up with this brilliant little test called the grunt test. The idea is within 5 seconds, literally 5 seconds of looking at your website or your marketing material, anyone, even a metaphorical caveman, should be able to grunt the answers to 3 questions. 1, what do you offer? 2, how will it make my life better? And 3, what do I actually need to do to buy it? And it works. There's this great case study of a photography teacher, Kyle Schultz. He was struggling, making maybe $25,000 from his online courses. He applied the StoryBrand framework, drastically simplified his website, like under 300 words, focused purely on passing that grunt test, highlighting the customer benefit. His sales, they jumped to over $103,000, more than quadrupled, just from clarifying the message. It's incredible.
That Kyle Schultz story really drives it home. Okay, let's break down those 7 SP7 elements then, because each one seems crucial. First up, the character and what they want. We've established the customer is the hero, always. You have to define what they desire clearly. Create that story gap, right? The space between where they are now and where they want to be. That's what grabs attention.
Exactly. And critically, that desire has to connect back to one of those core survival drives. Saving money, saving time, building social connections, gaining status, getting resources, being generous, finding meaning. Something fundamental. If your product doesn't clearly tap into one of those, their brain just won't engage deeply. You'll lose them.
Okay, makes sense. Next, number 2. Every hero needs a problem. Miller says the more you talk about the problems your customers face, the more they'll actually be interested in your brand. Seems counterintuitive, but...
Oh, it does, but it works. Every story needs a villain, a source of conflict. It could be an idea, like distraction or inefficiency, or something tangible, like, I don't know, yellow plaque for toothpaste. The key is it needs to be real, relatable, ideally singular, and the root of the conflict. But here's where most brands mess up. They only talk about the surface problem. Miller says there are 3 levels. There's the external problem, the obvious thing, like the leaky pipe, the messy desk, the bad website. But below that is the internal problem, how that external thing makes the customer feel. The frustration, the self-doubt, the embarrassment, the intimidation, that's the real motivator. And then there's the philosophical problem, the bigger why this is wrong, like it's just not fair, or people deserve better, or good should overcome evil. Think about Apple again. They weren't just solving the external problem of needing a computer. They solved the internal problem of feeling intimidated by technology and the philosophical problem that creativity shouldn't be stifled. Or CarMax. They didn't just sell used cars. They tackled the internal dread and mistrust people felt dealing with slimy salesmen. That was the real problem they solved. Starbucks, yeah, coffee is the external thing.
Yeah.
But they sell sophistication, belonging, a third place, addressing internal desires, philosophical needs. Most brands just stay stuck on the external and miss the deeper connection.
That internal-external philosophical distinction is huge. Okay, so once we have the hero and their multi-layered problem, they need help. Element 3, the guide. And this is key. The customer isn't looking for another hero. They're looking for a guide. Like you said, the Obi-Wan, the Yoda, someone who's been there, done that.
Absolutely. And a good guide needs 2 things, empathy and authority. Empathy is showing you understand their pain, using phrases like, we get it, or we understand how frustrating it is when. That builds connection. Authority isn't about bragging. It's about demonstrating competence. Use testimonials. Use stats. We've helped 10,000 businesses like yours. Show awards, logos of clients you've worked with. The mistake here. Sometimes brands try too hard to sound authoritative and come off cold, or they're all empathy but don't actually seem capable of solving the problem. Gotta have both.
Empathy and authority. Got it. So the guide establishes trust and then offers element 4, the plan. This clears up the confusion, reduces the perceived risk for the customer. Miller compares it to putting big stepping stones across a rushing creek. Makes the journey feel safe and doable.
Exactly right. And there are basically 2 kinds of plans. A process plan is just simple, numbered steps, usually 3 to 6 steps. Step 1, schedule a call. Step 2, we create a custom strategy. Step 3, we execute together. Super clear. Then there's an agreement plan. This is more like a list of promises that directly tackles their fears. Think CarMax again, their no-haggle pricing policy as a perfect agreement plan, or a money-back guarantee. A common slip-up here is making the plan too complicated, or honestly just not making it visible enough. Hide the plan, and you increase the customer's anxiety.
Right, makes sense. Okay, element 5, the call to action. Miller says customers don't act unless you actually challenge them to. You need to be direct, bold even.
Yep. This is where you ask for the commitment. He talks about 2 types of calls to action, or CTAs. The direct call to action is the will you marry me moment. It's asking for the sale, the sign up, the appointment. Buy now, schedule a call, register today. These need to be unmissable on your website. Bright buttons, repeated often. But like, you wouldn't propose on a first date. You also need transitional calls to action. This is more like, hey, can we go out again? It offers free value to build the relationship first. Think downloadable PDFs, webinars, free trials, checklists. StoryBrand itself uses this with free resources like their 5 Things Your Website Should Include PDF. This builds trust, positions you as an authority, creates reciprocity. Then, when they're ready, that direct CTA feels much less intimidating. The big mistake: only having one type of CTA, or worse, not at all, just leaving the customer hanging.
Okay, direct and transitional CTAs. Crucial. Now, element 6, avoiding failure. You gotta have stakes, right? If there's nothing to lose, the story's boring, nobody cares.
Exactly. And psychologically, this taps into loss aversion. People are generally more motivated to avoid a loss than to achieve an equivalent gain. It's a powerful driver. Miller uses this great analogy. Fear is salt. You just need a pinch in the recipe. Too much, and you ruin the dish, you scare people off or overwhelm them. But a little bit. A simple fear appeal that highlights the negative consequences of not acting. That can be really effective. It makes the customer aware of a threat, encourages them to take action, positions your product as the solution, the protection, and challenges them to act. Think about insurance commercials, like Allstate's Mayhem Guy. It's humor, but it clearly paints a picture of what could go wrong if you're not protected.
A pinch of salt, not the whole shaker.
Yeah.
Got it. And that brings us to the final element, number 7, success and transformation. You have to show people the happy ending. What does life look like after they use your product or service?
Yes, this is the payoff. You have to paint a picture of that better future. Customers want transformation. Miller breaks down successful endings into 3 categories, tied to fundamental human desires. 1, winning power or status. Your product gives them access, exclusivity, a premium identity. Think luxury cars, high-end watches, elite memberships. 2, union or completeness. Your product helps them feel whole, reduces anxiety, simplifies their life, gives them more time. Think productivity software, wellness apps. And 3, self-realization or acceptance. Your product helps them reach their potential, become who they aspire to be, or feel accepted. Think Dove's campaigns about real beauty or Tom Shoe's one-for-one model giving a sense of purpose.
This idea of aspirational identity seems really central here. It's not just selling a thing, it's selling who the customer becomes by using that thing. Like the Gerber Knives example, they're selling the identity of being tough, adventurous, fearless. Or Dave Ramsey's debt-free scream. It's not just about money, it's about becoming a financially empowered person.
Precisely. Your brand gets to participate in their personal transformation story. That's the deep connection. That's what builds loyalty.
Okay, wow. That SB7 framework is incredibly comprehensive. So let's pivot to making this super practical for everyone listening. Actionable lessons, implementation tips. Where should an entrepreneur start putting this into practice? Miller emphasizes the website, right? Says it does most of the heavy lifting and absolutely has to pass that grunt test.
Absolutely. Your website is often ground zero. He lists 5 must-haves for a story-branded website. First, an offer above the fold before anyone scrolls. A big, bold, clear headline focused on the customer. It should promise that aspirational identity, solve their problem, or state exactly what you do. Think Squarespace. We help you make beautiful websites. Simple, clear, customer-focused, no clever jargon needed.
Okay, clear offer up front. Second,
Obvious calls to action. We talked about this. Your direct CTA button, buy now, schedule demo, needs to be bright, stand out, and be repeated. Your transitional CTA download free guide should be there too, maybe less prominent, but easy to spot. Don't make people hunt.
got it. Third,
Images of success. Show happy people, smiling customers who have already benefited from your product, not just pictures of your building or abstract graphics. Help them visualize their own success through these images.
makes sense. Fourth,
A bite-sized breakdown of revenue streams. If your business does multiple things, don't just list them all confusingly. Have a clear umbrella message for the whole brand, then break down the different divisions or services onto separate, clearly labeled pages or sections. Keep it organized.
okay, avoid the clutter. And finally, the 5th website must have.
Very few words. Seriously. People scan websites, they don't read essays. Use what Miller calls Morse code. Short, punchy, relevant sentences. Bullet points are your friend. Summary sentences. Cut the fluff. The fewer words you use, the more likely they'll actually get read. Clarity through brevity.
Okay, those website tips are gold. Now, Miller also lays out a StoryBrand marketing roadmap. 5 steps, he says, are almost free to implement this framework and really drive growth with step 1.
Create a one-liner. This is huge. It's like a mini pitch, a log line for your business. It needs to concisely include the character, your customer, their problem, your plan, how you help, and the success, the result. It's harder than it sounds to get it right, but incredibly powerful once you nail it.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say you run a local bakery. Your one-liner might be, we help busy parents stressed about planning kids' birthday parties, character, problem, by crafting custom allergy-friendly cakes delivered to their door, plan, so their celebrations are stress-free, delicious, and memorable success.
Or for a B2B software company, we help overworked HR managers drowning in manual payroll, character, problem, with automated, secure software plan, freeing them up to focus on strategic talent development, success. Once you have it, memorize it. Get your whole team to memorize it. It turns everyone into a walking, talking salesperson delivering the exact same clear message. Consistency is key.
Okay, one-liner nailed. Step 2. Create a lead generator and collect email addresses. Stop just asking people to sign up for our newsletter. Nobody wants more email clutter. Instead, offer something genuinely valuable for free in exchange for that email address. A downloadable guide, a checklist, a webinar recording, a free sample, a discount code, an assessment. Something that solves a small problem for them right now. This positions you as the helpful guide, the authority, and it builds reciprocity.
Right. Give value first. Step 3.
Create an automated email drip campaign. So now you have these email addresses from your lead generator. Don't just let them sit there. Set up a sequence of automated emails that continue to nurture that relationship. Send regular, valuable content. A common pattern Miller suggests is maybe 3 nurturing emails offering helpful tips or insights, followed by 1 email that gently sells, reminding them of the problem, positioning your product as a solution, and including a clear call to action. This keeps you top of mind without being annoying and builds trust over time.
Makes sense, nurturing those leads. What's step 4?
Collect and tell stories of transformation, testimonials, but not just bland ones like, they were great. Ask specific questions to get the story. What was the main problem you were facing before you found us? How did that problem make you feel? What was different about our approach? Was there an aha moment? What does life look like now that the problem is solved? Those detailed answers become incredibly powerful stories you can use everywhere: website, emails, social media. They provide that crucial social proof and paint the before and after picture.
Love that, focusing on the transformation story. And the final step, number 5.
Create a system that generates referrals. Word of mouth is arguably the most powerful marketing, but you can't just hope it happens. You need a system. Actively encourage your happiest customers to spread the word. Identify who your ideal referrers are. Give them easy tools to share maybe a link to a valuable video or article, and offer clear incentives, discounts, commissions, exclusive access, special events. Turn those happy customers into an active, motivated referral engine.
Fantastic. What a practical roadmap. This whole deep dive has been incredibly clarifying, actually. The power of using story to shape your message. It just seems undeniable. It cuts through noise, it connects deeply, and ultimately it seems like it transforms your business because you're focused on helping your customers transform.
That's exactly it. And maybe a final thought to leave everyone with is this. Think beyond just what you sell. Consider who your customer becomes when they engage with your brand. What is the aspirational identity you're helping them step into? And how can you tell that story, their transformation story, even more clearly?
That's a powerful question for any business owner or marketer to chew on. Well, if you're feeling inspired to clarify your own message and really connect with your customers, make sure you subscribe to the Business Book Club. We bring you deep dives like this into essential business ideas every time. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Now, that's a wrap for this episode of the Business Book Club. If you enjoyed the ride, make sure to subscribe so you'll never miss our next deep dive. Got a favorite business book you'd love us to explore? Let us know. We're always up for a good read. And hey, don't keep all these insights to yourself. Share this episode with a fellow book lover or your work buddy who's always looking to level up. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next episode.